Hey, brother.
Hey, my man. How's it going?
Really good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Really good. Excited to be here with you again. And it's been cool, man. It's like been consistent with these episodes, been not overthinking it and showing up and getting it done, and it's felt really, really good. And it's been really amazing to receive the things that I've received from people, people that I didn't even know were listening. Um People like my mom that I know are listening. And when I talk to her, she, brings up certain episodes and asks questions and stuff like that. And it's just cool, man. Not only allows me to connect to myself in a deeper way, but then all these other people that I get to have conversations with that, you know, we're talking about things that maybe we never would have talked about if you and I hadn't created this space. And so feeling into a lot of gratitude for that.
Yeah, did you want to share any specific examples of what your mom brought up in terms of episodes or just general stuff?
Yeah, just general stuff. I mean, she asked me a question a few days ago. I can't remember exactly what episode she was talking about, but just like, able to like resonate with things that like we're talking about, and then wanting to like go deeper into certain subjects about like how that correlates to her life, and her feelings and stuff like that, right? And so yeah, man, it's just been really good. And then I had a friend message me. Um We've been going through some stuff and wanted to have a chat. Said that, one of the episodes really resonated with him and he wanted to talk more about that and stuff. And so, um, yeah, it feels good to not only be here and create this space that I've been looking to create for a long time, but um, for it to now be a part of my life that we just continue to, give energy towards. And it's an enjoyable thing, right? It's it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I gotta go do this or something like that, right? It's like, all right, fuck, let's me and one of my best friends get on here and have a cool conversation about something that, really intrigues me. And so yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely resonate with that a lot. I do sometimes feel that I get a little nerves, before we record an episode and I have all these thoughts, but it definitely, without fail, gives me energy at the end of every episode and puts me in a good place mentally. So yeah, I appreciate the space that we've created, and I look forward to continue creating it. Um, but a little foreshadowing. But how was your day?
Dude, interesting day. Um and I think goes really well into what we want to talk about today. um and so me and you were just talking before this episode, didn't really know what we're going to talk about, and shared some topics with you, and we landed on navigating your day, the topic of navigating your day. And so, as you asked me the question, how was your day? There were some things I had to navigate today. So I went to the archery range like I do, 3, 4 times a week, and I dry fired my bow. And so, for those that don't know what that means, that's pretty much like if you were to fire a bow without an arrow in it, right? And for a compound bow, or for most bows, pretty much all bows, that's a big no-no. And I mean, you could blow your bow up. You could break certain components. I mean, it's just not a fun thing to do. And when I experienced that today, it was one of those things where like in the moment it just like got me, dude, where I was just like, oh fuck. Like what did I just do, man? And instantly, like a lot of like emotions come through, emotions of like shame and embarrassment for myself, like for having done this thing that's just like, again, like so easy to do, but at the same time, like doesn't happen very often and it's not a good thing to do, right? And so it's like, man, like how did I do that? Obviously, I like subconscious in that moment, wasn't thinking about every step of the way. Um, I was thinking about other stuff. I remember exactly what happened. I shot 2 arrows and then I walked towards the target and I had one arrow left, and I was like, oh, let me just go back and shoot one more and see where this pairs with the other two. And then I walk back, and I'm thinking so much about like what I'm going to be doing as I'm walking back. I'm thinking about the form that I'm going to be using and where I'm going to put my thumb and all these different things. That I mean, apparently I went back there and just pulled back, didn't even knock an arrow. Anyway, so I get in my car and then I have a long drive to the like a 35, 40-minute drive to the archery store to sit with my thoughts and sit with my feelings. And, obviously, like I do what I do, right? Like I start breathing into my heart. I allow for like clarity to enter uh, an environment that there wasn't much clarity, right? It's just like, all right, like what is the reality? Well, the reality is it's already happened. The reality is that no one's hurt. The reality is that the worst thing I'm going to have to do is spend some more money if I want to continue to like shoot this bow, right? Um, and so it's like, how bad is that? Well, it's really not that bad at all. So it's like, all right, cool, sweet. And so then I went to the bow shop and hung out there for a bit, and all is well, man. All is well. The bow is good. But it's really cool and I don't know, fun, dude. Like it's fun to reflect. It's fun to be aware in those moments and not fucking spiral into like a pain cave, dude, of just like shame and embarrassment and all this type of shit, right? Um, I also noticed that like those two emotions like faded super quick, and like what replaced them was like more anger and frustration.
Mm.
Um, and that kind of lingered a little bit longer. And so um the rest of my day, that was the challenging part of my day.
Mm.
The rest of my day, I, man, I really enjoy like certain rituals that I have. They really bring a lot of, they allow me to connect to some like really beautiful, cool things. And one of them is taking Rumi, my dog, to the park and walking with him there and training him on the way. And then we get there and I throw the ball with him and he's just like killing it, dude. So happy, so pumped, biggest smile on his face. And like, that's one of my favorite parts of the day, as well as when I wake up in the morning. Um, the first thing that we do, Kat and I do, is cuddle with Rumi for like 5 minutes. And he knows it, dude. He loves it, dude. He wakes up, jumps straight on the bed, gets in between us, and we just kind of cuddle for 5 minutes. And I don't know, man. Like I've started my day many different ways. I'm that's the best way to start my day for sure. It's better than like the first thing I do meditating. It's better than anything so far that I've tried.
Mm.
So I'm gonna keep doing that. Um, and then yeah, and then I cooked a sick plate of pasta tonight, and I always get excited when I cook pasta. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I really enjoy it. So yeah, man, that was my day today. How was your day?
It was good, man. It was pretty good. I think, to your point, like dogs can bring you so much joy and love, and I think we can take a lot of lessons from our dogs. I think that's part of the reason so many people have dogs in this life we live. They just, put things in perspective, and they just wake up. Most dogs at least wake up super happy and just pumped to be alive, and that's something that I try to bring into my life as well. But no, my day was good. It was an early morning, so definitely a little sleepy. We worked at an insane property. Like this place, I mean, it has its own lake. It has, it's like a insane house. Has its own guest house. It has a lake house right on the lake. Um, I mean, just ridiculous. Like if I had to guess, Alex and I, my brother-in-law, were talking, and probably between 20 and 100 million, but who knows, anywhere in that range. Like, um, just sick property in northern Colorado, and that can bring up some feelings, as we're working there, and they probably have. Alex's estimate was like 350 trees on the property, and that's what we're doing is working on trees. So that's cool just to see all those trees and to see the property and to be there and to be in there and just kind of like seeing like what they're dealing with and what they're working with. You know, a detached garage, an attached garage, the whole like another shop greenhouse kind of thing in the back. Like it's like 20 acres, just unbelievable, right? So that can, you know, can make you feel a certain type of way, like maybe feelings of lack when you compare yourself if you fall into that trap. But you know, I chose to feel into just gratitude for being at a beautiful place like that. Um, but yeah, I had those thoughts, those feelings, you know, going back and forth between, you know, comparing myself and just being grateful to be there. Um, but yeah, super cool, super awesome. You know, the owner, the person we're dealing with is a super awesome human being, and she's like happy to have us there and super grateful that we're there and doing quality work for her. But yeah, and then we worked late, you know, and again, you can kind of go both ways with that. Working late is, you know, can be good, can be bad depending on your mentality. We went to a different site after that property, and you know, you have an option there. You can choose to feel like, oh fuck, I just want to go home, or you know, just be grateful to have the opportunity to be out there and be working. And yeah, and the weather was phenomenal today. I mean, it was in the 60s in Colorado in February, which is, you know, unheard of. So, um, but yeah, and then obviously now we're here. I got to take a nice warm shower and eat some good food, and now we're having a cool chat. So, um, again, I think you have choices when you navigate your day, and luckily this was I was able to be in the presence of mind to make good choices and feel into those choices. So yeah.
It's pretty cool to be able to reflect and, you know, because I remember a time where, you know, I would just not have the awareness to navigate those experiences, right? Like I would be the emotion. I wouldn't be observing the emotion. And I wouldn't just be the emotion for like seconds or a minute or a couple of minutes. I'd be it, man, dude, sometimes like the entire day, right?
Mhm.
And again, that's okay, but it's really nice to be able to reflect on my days and give a lot of gratitude for just the awareness to, you know, it's not about during challenging situations to like avoid them or push them away, but just to be aware of them and understand that like you aren't them is like so big, dude. You
Mhm.
know, like it's so big. Um, you know, I'm not my anger. My anger is a part of me, but I'm not my anger. You know, I'm not my frustration. My frustration is a part of me, but I'm not my frustration. I can be frustrated, I can be angry, but that's not me. Um, and you know, I think one of the things that like I was talking to my mother-in-law about the other day, and like was really challenging for me was when I became aware, it was almost like harder to navigate my day because like now I was aware of all the things that I was like doing. Now I was aware of my thoughts, I was aware of my feelings. And it was like, I remember it at first, dude, it was like the idea of ignorance is bliss finally made sense to me. I was like, holy shit. Like it like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't I didn't enjoy being anger, right? Like, but now that I'm aware of it, now when I became aware of it, it just became harder. And it was kind of like I was witnessing my program from my truth, like from my true self or from my like conscious mind. I was, you know, observing my subconscious mind from my conscious mind. And I was just like, wow, dude, this is crazy. Rather than being my subconscious mind, being my programs, being my feelings, being my thoughts. And as I continued to like go down that road and try to continue to navigate my day, because that's what I mean, what was my other choice, right? Like my choice is always just all right, like I either commit to this journey because it's not about the destination. I just commit to this journey or I don't. And so I continue to commit. And what I found was like my ability to navigate my day and create a much more peaceful day wasn't about like trying to like change those situations. It was more about just like being aware of them and giving myself grace was like the biggest thing for me. And so I continue to bring that into my experience and into my days. Knowing that, man, like it's okay if this never changes. It
Mhm.
has to be, right? Like it has to be okay. Because ultimately, if it's not okay, then what I'm going to be living in is a self-made reality of not good enough.
Mm.
And that's not something I want to live in, right? And so it's like, I think this is super relevant for everyone that's listening and everyone in life is like, I think sometimes we get to this place in like during our day where, we start to think about whether it's, you're experiencing yourself being angry and like you're frustrated at yourself for being angry, or whether what you were talking about, right? You see this epic house or some type of experience for you to compare yourself against. And I just think it's so easy for us to create this, like these moments and feelings of like not good enough. I'm not good enough. This isn't good enough. And I would say that, like, for me, navigating my day now, feeling into the truth, which is I am good enough. This is good enough. All is well. Um, has been probably like the biggest shift for me in being able to like go through a day and feel completely worthy, always end the day feeling completely worthy, always end the day feeling completely whole, completely grateful. Um, and that wasn't always the case. What uh what comes up for you?
Yeah, no, I mean it's something we've spoken about many times on this podcast and the space we've shared is like what you said, becoming aware of those thoughts and those feelings can sometimes be detrimental if you don't choose to accept,
Yep.
But yeah, that was a huge shift for me is, I became aware and then I would judge myself for the feelings I was having or the emotions. Um, but as soon as you can just accept and say like, okay, that's all right that I feel that and just like acknowledge it, then a lot of those feelings kind of just fall away, which is, a beautiful and not easy thing to do, but it's been a huge thing for me. Another thing that comes up when it just around the topic of navigating my day is there's a saying in the Dominican Republic, which where my dad was born, but al dedo malo todo se pega. So that means like if you like your bad finger or toe or whatever, like you keep bumping it on stuff, and I think a lot of people can you keep hitting it on stuff, right? So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the concept. I think a lot of people can relate to this when you wake up and you stub your toe on the bed or something doesn't go right in the morning, or it can just spiral into your entire day, and it can just it's like one thing. Like when it rains, it's pours, right? Is another way
Hmm.
of saying that.
Hmm.
Um, so that kind of comes up for me when we talk about this idea of navigating your day. Is like I don't know if you have any insight into, when something goes wrong, any techniques of like how to kind of flip the script or like what you do if something happens in the morning.
Yeah, so it's changed. It's changed for me throughout my life. I'll just like touch on some of the different stages that I've gone through in my life that have been very impactful. So the first one that comes to mind is when I first started committing to like feeling into gratitude, like first thing in the morning. That was like a really big shift for me. This was at a time in my life where like I wasn't waking up like I wake up now. Like when I wake up today, I'm good, dude. I'm happy, really happy, really grateful. It's just a normal thing. Again, not every single day, but it's the more common thing these days, right? But back then it wasn't, man. And so like I used to put I still do this. I put reminders in my phone to remind me of things that like my aligned self desires to do because I no longer like pretend that I'm not going to be in my subconscious mind throughout the day and just like not be aware of stuff, or the opposite. Like if I'm not in a program, I'm very present And because I'm present, I'm not thinking about what I like wanted to remember because I'm in the present, right? So I'm not thinking about the past. And so, I just understand myself now, and I don't, try to hold myself to these, crazy standards or realities. I'm just like, all right, cool. If I want to do this thing, I'm just going to set myself a reminder. So I used to do that, set myself a reminder first thing, 5 minutes of gratitude. And it's like, all right, cool. That was cool. And then, dude, what really fucking changed my life when it comes to like morning practices was so I started getting into Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations, and one of his meditations, like the first morning meditation that he created, there's this part in it where he asks you to like think about the thoughts and feelings that you no longer desire to experience, right? So pretty much like think about like the programs that come up on a regular basis for you that you want to bring awareness to, right? So kind of like priming your mind ahead of time so that when this thing happens, you can bring awareness to it, right? Kind of putting energy towards that. And then in the same meditation, feeling into what it's going to be like to like choose a new path, and what path would you choose, right? And then thinking about that and feeling into that, right? And dude, this was big, man. I did this for a while, bro. I did this for a few years, man. And like during that time, I reprogrammed a lot, and I give a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Uh Not gratitude, but well, like that, I like that was the reason that I feel like I was able to reprogram, was because every morning I was doing that meditation. I was bringing it into my awareness. I was bringing my new reality into my awareness. And I just felt like I was so much more aware throughout the day to be able to choose a more aligned path, but at the same time, like bring awareness to when I had those feelings that I knew were linked to my programs. And then most recently in the morning, I've started with Kat, spending like 5 minutes together in the morning, just me and her in front of each other, like holding each other's hands and like leading each other into each other's hearts, like leading each other into our hearts. Um, and yeah, like just speaking like whatever comes through for me and guiding us in that direction, right? Whether it's into feelings of love or gratitude. The other morning, it was, I just kind of went on this like beautiful meditation rant about like, us being together and how long we've been together and how beautiful it is and stuff like that. Right. And so that's been really cool. That's been a big focus for me recently, is like when it comes to navigating my day, is like I have this person, Kat, who I've been with for 15 years, and I want to make her a much more conscious part of my day, because it's so easy for my subconscious mind to not make her an important part of my day because she's just there all the time. And
Yeah.
so it's that's like my latest thing that I'm really looking to bring awareness to in the mornings, and allow to like steer my day in a beautiful direction from the get-go.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. I can relate to that. That we obviously Roxy and I aren't together at the moment. I mean, we're together, but not physically together. But but yeah, we went through a period of time when we were still living in Arizona with, and especially in the winter time, when the pool was cold, and we would go out in the mornings and do a little cold plunge and stretch, and then, we would challenge each other to say something that we're grateful um, about for ourselves, something that we like about ourselves or that we love about ourselves. And just a simple practice like that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, that in depth. Also, there's a beautiful meditation that I've heard in the mornings, just checking in and being grateful for your body and, the organs that constantly work and keep you alive and that you don't have to think about. And I mean, that simple thought, or just checking in with that, like I can see, I can hear, I can taste, I can, move around, and, I do have free will at the end of the day. And just really, feeling into that in the mornings really changed my day, really changed, those days. And or just reading The Power of Now, or a good book that lets you really reflect, and really made my day go a million times better. And you can tell when you don't do it. The shift. Um, but yeah.
All the things that we're talking about are things that normally, when I say normally, like more often, people need to experience something that challenges that in order to be grateful for that. Like, for example, right? Like you were saying, like, I'm grateful for my eyes and I'm grateful for my ears and I'm grateful for movement and stuff like that, right? So, like, sometimes when people see someone in a wheelchair or someone that is mentally disabled or whatever it is, right? Like they see that reality, and then based on the reality they see, now they compare that to their reality, and then they feel gratitude for their reality. I've felt this before. At the same time, I think it's kind of fucked up, right? Because by feeling that gratitude off comparison in some way, you like, what does that mean for the other person then if you're feeling
Yeah.
grateful, right? And so I think it's a really interesting experience. And again, I'm not going to say it's bad or you shouldn't do it. I mean, I've felt that before. I understand what that experience is. The reason I bring that up is because like we shouldn't wait for those experiences. Like we shouldn't have to experience something fucked up in order for us to be grateful for what we have, right? And if we and I don't even like I don't even really want to refer to that as gratitude. Like when you're like looking at someone or something as like really fucked up and then feeling grateful about like your situation. I don't even think that's really like gratitude. I think that's more of like a service to self kind of like feeling, right? I don't think it's as pure as gratitude, honestly, but it disguises itself as gratitude, and a lot of people think it's gratitude. I used to think it was gratitude. um and I just think it's important. The reason I bring that up is because I was just bringing awareness to the fact as you were talking that like everything that we just kind of said are like these beautiful things in our life that are already here, and a lot of the time have always been here, or at least been here for a while. And it's like these are things that we can be grateful for all the time, that we're not grateful for all the time because they've always been here and we're just so used to it. And it's one of the many programs that we already have because it's just what our mind, the way our mind would describe it is be oh, it's normal. It's just normal, right?
Mhm.
And what is normal is not extraordinary, but really it is, dude. Fucking it is, right? And to feel into it in that true light of extraordinary. Oh my God, look at my feet. Oh my God, my eyes, dude. Oh wow, I can smell. Like, I understand that this isn't going to be something we're going to do in every moment of every day. I'm not saying that. But to bring awareness to these things, not based off experiencing the opposite and not based off experiencing like suffering, but just to bring awareness to them for what they are and having gratitude for what they are, I think is such a powerful experience to offer yourselves. And I mean, it's definitely helped me navigate my days. And
Yeah.
by the sounds of it, it helps you navigate yours too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to a podcast. It's been probably a year ago now, but the lady was talking about just everything that had to happen for you to be a human, for you to exist, like when you get down to it, down to the nitty gritty, like all the, you know, the sperm had to, find its way, and it had to fight off, or not fight off, but beat its way to like however many. It's just like it's pretty insane what had to happen, for us to be here and alive, and just feeling into that was pretty cool. And to hear that perspective was pretty neat too.
Yeah, it's just so easy to get locked in on something and make that thing so important and as if it's like everything. And I think, we've all felt this, right? And then you, at some point, hopefully, you have this moment of like awareness where it's just like, oh, that's actually not fucking important at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like that thing is not important at all. Um, I think for a lot of people, like sickness and death bring this to the forefront,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like when you become like when you have an experience of like helplessness, right? Or again, you're on your deathbed, like things. come into perspective very, very quickly. And I think, again, to my point that I made before, it doesn't have to get there in order for us to have those perspectives, right?
Mhm.
And how good does it feel, bro? Like, especially when you share that with others, right? Like it feels so good to do those things that feel so good for you. You know, for example, like how good it feels to look at your loved one and they have no idea that you're looking at them, but like looking at them as if like like the way that you looked at them and with the feelings that you looked at them like within the first few weeks that you met them, right? And like offering yourself that experience of just like the wonder and awe of like this person that is in your life, right? And doing that during your day when things, like today with my bow, right? Like when I was in like anger and frustration, and then I got in the car and was able to like laugh at my anger and my frustration, right? And I'm able to smile at it, like being able to experience both of it and realize that, all right, like, yes, in that moment, I made that like very, very serious and it felt very serious and like very important, but also like it's not important at all. And then starting to feel into what is important really like is a great practice for me to navigate my day, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what I'm taking from this conversation right now is the simple like shift to gratitude. Like, thank God I have a bow that I can dry fire.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, I mean, so another thing that kind of comes up for me, my reality right now is, I'm living with, or I'm staying with my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, and the beautiful individuals. But everyone has issues throughout their day, and I observed, obviously my sister, well, not obviously, but she works at a dog shelter, um, and there's some tough days there. I mean, she's a dog behavior, she's in charge of the dog behavior there, and I mean, there are days they have to put dogs down for biting other dogs, for biting people, whatever the case may be. But for just because they don't have a good quality of life, and that's a reality. And sometimes she comes home and it's rough for her, and understandably so. Um, but yeah, I didn't know if you want to touch on anything about that. I mean, it's obviously a very tough thing to go for anyone to go through, but I mean, even if it's not your dog.
Just like we don't like, I had this conversation the other day as well. It's like, bro, we don't know what anyone's fucking going through. I just think like a lot of the time, like everyone, including myself, is like so quick to just paint their color on everyone else, right? And what I mean by that is like, dude, like your sister, for example, it's like, dude, we have no idea who's going through what they're going through every day and what's happening, right? Um, and we're just so preoccupied with like our world and our experience and how to navigate our day, um, that very rarely do we give like a lot of awareness and attention to like other people and what they're going through and what's happened in their day. And so what comes up for me is just like how beautiful it is to you know hold loving space for someone else, right? And how that fucking changes your day. Like how the act of love and giving um completely changes your day. It's like a 2-for-1 special, dude.
Yep.
Right? Um and so that's kind of what comes up for me, right? Is like how can I give grace and reverence to my experience, but at the same time, like create space and give grace and reference like other people's experiences and allow them to like offload maybe some stuff that they want to offload. Because I know sometimes I want to offload some shit, and so when someone in my life is expressing frustration or when someone in my life is expressing anger, instead of making it about me, instead of making it about how am I going to navigate this in my life, in my day? Can it be more about the other? And okay, like I have no idea what's going on with this person right now. Obviously, they're feeling some things. And, can I give myself to that person? Right. Something as simple as like, hey, like I can see like you know, you obviously feel pretty challenged right now. I'm here for you. I love you. And if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. Um, Even like if they don't want to talk, I've found just like sharing that love with someone else, just that, man, like drastically changes everything for me, you know? And that's not because I wanted it to change everything for me, but love is the answer. And I feel like every time we do our best to give that to others, it naturally helps us navigate our day. Um, that's what comes up for me when you share that, dude. It's just like, fuck, dude, so many people are going through so many different things every single day, whether it's based on their profession or their family or their programs and their trauma and all this different stuff. And it's like, it's so easy for us to just be blinders on, like
Mhm.
this is all about me, but this is all about me in my life. Um, and not realize that the answers that we seek are in the service to all and is in the service to other. And it's a it's a cheat code pretty much. Um, for example, it's like, dude, like when someone comes up to you, a stranger comes up to you and says, "Hey, do you know what time it is?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, it's like 12 o'clock." Like just that moment of like being of service to that person that you fucking don't meet is like it's a good moment, dude. It's a nice moment,
Mhm.
right? It's like a really nice moment. And like imagine like that was our intention when we were aware, just to be of service. I think we can get so weighed down in our own mind of how do I fix this and how do I fix that within my own day? How do I navigate my own day? How do I navigate this? How do I navigate that? And I've found like a cheat code is like completely shift from all of that and just be like, okay, how can I be of service? And by doing that, it takes care of all the other shit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, man.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty, obviously, it's a pretty like general topic, right? Navigating your day, right? Because every day can seemingly be different. But that's where I want to like challenge that thought, right? I really want to challenge that belief that like, oh, like every day's different. Like this might happen. So that's going to be different how I navigate that compared to how I navigate something else. It's like, no, dude, it's not. And this is like what I kind of want to end this on. And I want people to really fucking understand this because like this is the gold, man. This is the meat, right? Um, it's all the same. And if you can simplify your life and realize that it's all the same, then everything's going to be much easier. You don't need 100 different answers to your seemingly illusory 100 different problems. They're all the same fucking problem, right? And what I mean by that is when anything is going on in a certain moment, right? You can offer that moment love. You can offer that moment gratitude. You can offer that moment letting go, like allowing what is happening, accepting what is happening, right? And that is your navigation, that is your compass. I have witnessed myself and I've witnessed many other people getting locked in their minds of just like, no, but what happened here was this person said that and that person said this and then I did this. And it's like, bro, you're gone. You're completely gone, dude. You're sleeping, right? Like, understand that that is all like data that your mind has taken just to complicate shit. Ultimately, it's happened, and the only reason you're still experiencing it is because you haven't accepted it, because you haven't given it gratitude, and because you haven't given it any love, right? And so, I would just say when it comes to navigating your day, simplify things, come back to that place of love, get back to that place of gratitude, acceptance, and allowance, and let that be your compass instead of thinking that, oh, I need to meditate an extra 10 minutes, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. It's like, yeah, that's great. You can do that, but you don't need to do that in order for you to have a beautiful flowing day. Um, and so, yeah,
Yeah, what comes up for me when you say that is, I know it might be like just something that people say, but the whole idea of that life happens for you and not happens to you. Um, yeah, I love that thought and being able to connect to that. And obviously, you can't always do that, or I can't always do that at where I'm at right now. But that's a very very awesome concept that I come back to over and over.
I love that one too, man. I'm really glad you brought that up. Yeah, I love that one too. You know, and when we talk about like allowing, also allowing the shitty stuff, if it doesn't want to go away, if you're like in the swamps of like misery and sorrow and it's hanging around, okay, man, no worries. Like you can allow that too. Can that exist also? Right. Um, and so, but yeah, man, I think this is a really cool topic and, I'm glad we spoke about it because ultimately all of us are waking up every day and experiencing a myriad of things that ultimately can take us in 100 different directions if we allow it to? Or can we start to allow everything to take us to the same place, to take us to gratitude, to take us to love, to take us to acceptance and allowance, right? Like, can that be our intention? Um, Rather than trying to resist and solve all these problems and all of this craziness, right? Simplify our lives and guarantee you, man, it's gonna feel a lot better and a lot easier. So, um, well, I appreciate you, Dan. Thanks, man, and appreciate anyone that's listening, and look forward to connecting again soon.
Awesome, brother.
All right,
Appreciate you.
all right, bye.